What's up, Joseph?
You know what? How you doing? Right. How was your week?
It was all right. We hung out yesterday, so we pretty much know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
You have a couple announcements?
I do. I have a couple announcements I want to start getting out there. Sunday, August 21st, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., our fellowship's having a barbecue pig roast. Prizes, DJ, music, games, come down, fellowship. Adults, $30, kids at $25. And then we have another one, the 47th annual Share-a-thon Into Action. It's free admission. 8 a.m. Sunday, October 2nd at St. Joseph the Worker Church, 510 Narragansett Avenue, East Patchogue. So we'll start sharing that and getting that out.
Awesome. You'll put that on the page, I assume?
Yeah, I'll upload it to the page after.
All right, so today's a different
special
type
episode.
Of day. A little special episode with a guest. Yeah, Joseph.
We got my buddy Jack. We've talked about Jack a lot on the podcast. Since I met Jack, I launched on, clinged on to him. He does it one day at a time. He's got 16 months now.
Yeah, a little over 16.
Coming up on 16 months. So he just wanted to come on a podcast, share his experience, strength, and hope. Awesome. So what's up, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing?
Yeah, another day in paradise.
That's it.
So you want to give us a little background on yourself, Jack?
Jack, I'm an alcoholic.
Jack.
I'm grateful I figured out I was an alcoholic because my whole life I just thought it was my thinking. Yeah, I thought I was just screwed up. Defended my drugs and drank like there was no tomorrow. Always wanted to say it was me. Not realizing that had a big effect. What am I doing? Experience, strength, and hope?
Whatever you want.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you a little about myself. Growing up, I grew up with a mother in active addiction. Seen a lot of things that kids shouldn't. Raids, mother beaten, no food, no heat. I grew up pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was born an alcoholic or made into one with the way I grew up. Product of my environment. But it wasn't all bad, but it wasn't all good either. But when I was 12 years old, I gave my mom an ultimatum because I found out at 13 you could take your parents to court. Because I wanted to go live with my dad.
Oh wow!
And like any good drug addict, they don't want to go to court, so she signed over custody to my father. And for the longest time I had a big resentment, and which I didn't even know I had. It wasn't until I did these steps, but I realized at that point in her life she didn't have a choice. That drug had a hook in her. Like I said, it wasn't all good because it gave me a drive like no other. I wanted to make something out of myself. So I started working at a young age. Started my first towing business when I was 18. Sold that when I was 20 and started working for Chrysler. Became the youngest A-Tech. I was doing very, very well. Bought 2 houses, cars, trucks. I did a lot of things people would equate to success and happiness, but I deep down wasn't happy. I was always trying to fill that void. And I started dating this girl I worked with, and we broke up. And they say don't shit when you eat.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I should have paid attention to everybody. Wish I would have took those suggestions then. But I didn't realize it screwed me up because I had all that other stuff from my childhood buried deep down, and it screwed me, put me in a bad depression. I didn't know what was going on with me, and then it was around Christmas time that year.
How old were you at this time?
I was about 25.
Okay.
And 31 now, but coming up that year, right after 2 days after Christmas, I went to this place in Holbrook called Irish Times. I got into a fight. I love that place.
I stay out there a lot.
Oh, that place is awesome. I
used to live in Holbrook. So.
I don't know if I should say this, but if you can't get laid there, you got a problem.
That is 100% true. And by the way, I was going in when I was married, but that's besides the point. Yeah.
Whoops. Jesus. I mean, listen, it's an honest program today. That's what it comes down to.
Go right into it, yeah.
But I got into a fight in the bar. I tuned 2 kids up because I thought they were going after my buddy. And you've been there before. The bouncers, they're on you within seconds.
Yeah.
So I threw my hands up as I walked myself to the door. And the last thing I heard was, once he's off the curb, he's all yours. I'll never forget it. And as I turned around, the first kid tackled me. He hit me hard enough, tackled me hard enough, I was off the curb. And then the second guy pinned down my shoulders, and the other 5 of them teed off on me. I didn't realize there was 7. I thought it was just 2 guys. But I went to the doctors, and I shattered orbital stitches, broken tooth. I was screwed up, and they gave me pain meds. And before that, I wasn't always living an angel, but I really wasn't partying. I was selling a lot of stuff, and just thought who the hell I was. But
Excuse me.
It made the emotional and the physical pain go away. And I was like, this is great. Then I just started selling those and buying dope because it was cheaper. Same effect. Started snorting it. Then I started shooting it probably like a year into that because it's getting so expensive to keep snorting it, I mean, a drip was fantastic, don't get me wrong, fellas, But, that ended up swallowing everything. I knocked up this girl, my son's mother, and I was taking a hostage. But, it swallowed everything. My houses I signed over to my uncle. Car, truck I sold, toolbox. I was an A-Tech. I had a really big toolbox filled with tools.
It's ridiculous. I was in the car business. You guys, tens of thousands of dollars.
I was close to hundreds because of how much work I was doing, especially the diesels.
Yeah.
And I gave it all away. I can't even say I gave it away.
Yeah.
Penny said, keep going. It started getting bad. Living with my ex and her parents. They were in Massapequa. And it's going back to almost 2 years ago now. I went in. They knew something was wrong. They never experienced anything like that in their family, so they didn't know all the signs like we do.
Yeah.
We know a bunch of alcoholics in our family. To them, I was pulling wool over their eyes, and they were like parents to me.
Yeah.
And I left my son with them. She was at work, and my dad came there because they were calling me out of my shit, and I said, get me the fuck out of here. I left, and I left my son with them to go live in a tent. The same thing that was done pretty much to me when I was a child at 12. I was now doing to my son, and that's why I forgave my mom early on because, early on in my recoveries because I realized that she really just didn't have a choice at that point. That drug calls.
So I just real quick, I just want to see this time frame from owning 2 houses, having everything in the world by the balls, to living in a tent.
Yeah, pretty much.
How fast?
I'd say about a year and a half.
Wow.
2 years. Yeah. By the time I was 27, I was already 25, 26. Yeah, 27. I was already moved into her house, her parents, and then the next few years after, we moved out to Florida for a little bit to try to live with my mom. We were trying to rekindle that parentship, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But meanwhile, I was down there. We were smoking crack together and drinking. I went down to go get sober, and the first few nights there we were drinking at the bar. So she wanted a party friend still, which I get it. She was trying. I guess she was trying to be the best person she could. That she knew how. Yeah, down there, shit just have to. We were down there for like 6 months, 8 months. We came back. And we were living back at her parents' house. Like I said, her parents are great. They drove down there, picked us up. What I tell you, that's something like I look forward to in the future. Like they were really normal and genuine people. That if I could give that to my son, if I could be like how they are with their kids, they're real role models in my eyes. But I was living in a tent in the middle of winter. I was actually, I thought I was smart. I thought I was slick. I was working at this place, and they had sea containers. This guy rents out sea containers and fixes tow trucks. So I was living in a sea container all the way in the back, so that way there was no wind and no snow falling on the tent. Yeah. I had the tent in there, and then I had a George Foreman for heat. Instead of me really being... for heat, man.
We're creative people. Man.
Yeah, well, we really are. You can't even say we're not. I used 2 buckets, 2 5-gallon buckets, and a piece of wood as a shelf. I was like, yo, this is nice.
Fancy. This ain't that bad.
Yeah, I have my own pets, too.
Could be worse. Could be worse.
This was the fun part of it. I had my own pets, too. I had raccoons. They would come, they would fuck, they would shit, they would eat, and I'd feed them, I couldn't tell who was who. They all kind of looked the same in the middle of the night, and there was no light in there.
They do wear masks.
They do. They look like little bandits. But, Yeah,
They must be liberals.
Oh,
Sorry.
shot.
Sorry.
It's awesome. Yeah, I was in the middle of winter. There was snow on the ground, dude. I thought I was sick. I thought I thought I was normal. It was when the unacceptable became acceptable.
Yeah.
I thought I was good. But then I was actually running around to the parking lot because the guy I later started to work for, it was all in the same complex in Lindenhurst. I was running around to his parking lot in the middle of the night and cutting all his cats out. To all his cars and selling. Yeah, right to my dealer.
Yep.
My dealer would give me grams, depending on what it was. If it was out of a Ford, I'd get 2 grams. If it was out of a Honda, I'd get a gram and a half.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
you
was
were
good.
just using that as a barter system.
Just using straight that.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. For food, I'd walk across the street 7-Eleven, 11 o'clock at night because they throw away all their donuts. I'd go over there, grab the donuts they're throwing out, take a shit, fucking wash my face, go back, get high.
And in your head, you're living the high life.
I was living the high life.
Living the dream,
It's
baby.
so
You know?
crazy.
It like I said, when the unacceptable becomes acceptable. That's why I laugh now. Like, you see all these memes and things about catalytic converters. I was like, they made those because of me, I probably got a good 20 cars from the guy. And then the one shop that was in the middle of the two guys, East Coast, which, I probably shouldn't say what I want to say, and the guy with the tow trucks. There was another guy was starting to shop, and the one night was a bad snowstorm. He let me sleep in there. And this is right towards the end. I had a brand new Acura that he was turning into a body shop. He was punching the front.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's not going to start her up for a few days. I jacked the car up, saws all the cat out. There's another cat in the back, cut that cat out, lowered the car down. Sold it right to my dealer. He came by, and then I was getting high in the tent, and I had a moment of clarity. And I called my father. I said, listen, I really think I'm ready to go to rehab. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that gift of desperation.
Gift of desperation. And the old man, he's old school AA. He's got 37 years. He,
Incredible.
some good stuff. But, he told me to go fuck myself. He said, you got yourself all the way to Ronkonkoma or wherever I had to go for my drugs. He said, you get yourself to rehab. And hung the phone up on me. And man, I was
Really?
pissed. Yeah. He needed me. I needed, and he knew I needed to hit rock bottom. I really need to slam fucking my face right on the concrete. And
Going back to that too, I remember. I just want you to share this about that tough love because it is a family disease. You just to touch on it real quick. You told me you were in the hospital once, and your father came. And can you just tell that story?
yeah, it was 6 months before. Now I'm gonna keep this just in me. 6 months before, I went into CK Post. This is going back almost a year and a half ago now. I'm at 16 months and change. But 6 months before that, I went to the psych ward because at first I wanted to admit that the drugs and the alcohol were the problem. And then from there, talking to the counselors, I opened up to them, told them that, the drugs were the problem. Because when you go to the psych ward and you're coming off that, they test your urine. They knew I was on opiates.
Yeah.
And gave me Suboxone. They put me in the rehab at South Oaks. And I stayed, I don't know if I was ready, but I went to the rehab, stayed on the Suboxone. I came out, sold that shit right away pretty much. I went to a meeting and they turned me off. I told them I was new. And this meeting, like, their noses were in the air. It's a little Richie area where I went. I'm going to leave the meeting out of it. But yeah, so I wasn't ready, and we've been through me going to psych wards and this and that. Like I said, I never wanted to admit that the drugs and the alcohol were part of my problem. Jack was always the problem. But, yeah, so when I came out, I just went right back to it. So it was kind of like I spit in everybody's face. So this time, like I said, my dad gave me that rock bottom that I needed, And that was 2 days before my birthday, March 3rd.
Yeah.
Which is also my sober date. And going into my birthday, like I said, those last 2 cats I still had at that guy's garage. I tried overdosing. I sucked up as much into that needle as I could, to the point where you almost couldn't get blood into it. Just seeing a little red come up, I was like, oh, I'm good. And you could feel it, like, I don't know if anybody listening ever shot up, but you could feel it if you missed the vein. I knew I was in the vein. And when that plunger hit the bottom, I remember looking up, and I just said, I'm ready. I was ready to die at that point.
Yeah.
And I woke up like an hour and a half later. This is the morning of my birthday. This is like 1 o'clock in the morning on my birthday. And when I woke up, I was fucking pissed because now I felt like a failure of life and death. And
Jesus Christ.
come that morning, the guy at East Coast, I walked into there and after I just robbed 20 cats from over the last few weeks, and month, whatever it was. And I was like, listen, I don't know what to do. You know, I need help. And I really expected to throw hands. I was in no condition. I probably wouldn't have felt it at that second. But and I said to him, I was like, you know, I really need help. And he looked at me. I'll never forget. And he's like, you know, I want to fucking kill you. I can't turn my back on you. His exact words to me. That was like my introduction to AA, like my real introduction, which I didn't understand at first. And he's like, get in the truck. And he took me to Good Sam. He asked me where to go. I didn't know. There's a Good Sam. I know it's over here.
Yeah.
And Good Sam doesn't have a detox. So they give you some fluids and he sends you out the door. He came back like an hour and a half later and picked me up and brought me to NUMC. And NUMC, they didn't have any detox beds open. So I remember going into the ER, them throwing me out a few hours later. Walked out. Now, mind you, I have on my left arm, I have a Good Sam bracelet. NUMC on the right, they threw me out. I walked back in, checked myself back in. They just kept slapping bracelets on me. It was like a day and a half process, but I was not leaving that hospital until they took me in. And I kept going in and out. Out the side door, in the front door. Out the side door, in the front door. Finally, after like the fifth check-in, this guy was calling up hospitals for me, and another hospital was going to take me. And he said, you got to get a COVID test, though. Mm-hmm. So I went to the COVID ward over there. And I'm sitting there, and I'll never forget this nurse walked in and said, you, Jack? I said, yeah, what's up? There's a bed upstairs. Do you want it? And I looked at my arms. I said, yeah, you know, I really think I do. You know, like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Yeah. And I went upstairs, and they detoxed you for like 4 days with methadone. But at that point, I was kicking so bad, it didn't do much. Mm-hmm. And I was supposed to go back to South Oaks. And right before, an hour before I was supposed to leave in that cab to go to South Oaks, they shut down because of COVID. And this is where I look back now. This is where God played in, you know, because the guy that brought me to the hospital told me to go to CK Post because that's where he got sober. He had 16 years. You know, he's got 16 or maybe 17 now. At that point, so I went to CK Post, and you know, they asked, you know, you want to continue on the methadone, blah blah blah, and I said, no, listen, I'm here. I said, I want to kick everything. You know, I really don't want to depend on anything anymore. Mm-hmm. And for 2 weeks, I was miserable on the couch. Back when I went, there was a private wing. You had to stay in there for like a week and a half to make sure you didn't have COVID, this and that, any symptoms. Gotcha. And you know, you're withdrawn, so they think they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I remember they had like this little community room down there with you know, TV, this and that, all DVDs everywhere. And I would just come out, so I was out of my room, and I would lay on this couch and shivering, sweating, puking, you know, nausea. And I was kicking. It was probably about like a weekend, you know. And this first guy came out to me. It was like maybe like 10 o'clock. I really don't know what time. It was early, though. And he's like, did you pray today? I was like, the fuck? Who am I praying to? Like this world revolves around me, bro. Do you know who I am? You know.
I'm sorry, you're looking.
This sounds familiar, right, guys?
Yeah, it's a little familiar.
Yeah, this is why I break everybody's balls.
It's about Jack, guys. Stop.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
that's why I bust everybody's chops, because you know, I recognize myself in a lot of you guys. Yeah. You know, and I like I said, I remember shaking, and the first guy said it to me. It's like, yeah, I was like, what's he talking about? The second guy came up to me. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, fuck you guys. Don't you know I'm God? Mm-hmm. And then finally, the third guy, he came up to me. And he said, did you pray today? And like I said, I tried every which way to use successfully and have it my way. So, you know what? Let me try something different, you know. That gift of desperation. You know, I keep that every morning I wake up. Mm-hmm. You know, I gotta get God in my head before Jack gets in his head. You know, my sponsor says that. I actually used to think it was nuts when he said that when I first met him. And I do that. I can't start the day without it. I'm actually a morning person now. It's freaking weird. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, so I started praying, and you know, it didn't get better right away. I kept doing it day and night. Right before I went to bed, when I wake up. Right before I went to bed, wake up. And I don't know who was listening to this at this point. I had some kind of idea, and they put me in general pop. You know, it's going on. I'm still praying now. I remember sitting in the back of that main room at CK Post, the downstairs where the TV was.
Yeah.
My chair leaning against the wall. You know, still thinking who I was at that point. And it was something that lifted out of me. I can't explain this if you haven't felt it. But it legitimately like pulled. It was like poof. I remember looking around like, did anybody else just get hit by a truck? Like, what was that? And something changed at that point. Then at CK Post, I started cracking down. Actually, I got to make an amends to them because at that point I stole one of their big books. I still have.
Man.
And I wouldn't let go of that thing. I carried that book around everywhere. Then I started doing the morning meeting, and then I started doing the night meeting because at that point we didn't have speakers coming in. So I would chair that night meeting. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wung it. Yeah,
Right.
Like I said, from that moment on, something was different. And so now I had no place to go. And we were figuring out where I was going. They wanted me to go to the CR there, but the CR wanted me to go back on Suboxone at that point.
Oh, Suboxone.
Because I had an overdose a few years prior to that, and I guess it was recorded, so they didn't want to take the chance on me. And then this opportunity opened up at Your Journey Begins. Sky Benny came and interviewed me. I don't know how any of this stuff worked. I was new to this. I don't know what a sober house was. I didn't know anything. And you're terrified at that point. Like you're humble as fuck. Let me tell you that much. And he came and interviewed me, and it sounded like a great place. I heard very good things about it. They had 2 meetings at the house, and I went there. And from living in a tent, I was still like an animal, man. When I moved in there, I still have clothes all over, cups all over. And at that point, it was almost 16 guys in the house, and Betty would come by like every day, every other day. And I would have soda cans up on the shelf or whatnot. And he came in and hit me with a fine the one day. This motherfucker, I was so pissed. I said, you know what? I'm just going to leave the can now. I'm going to pay the fine every day. Fuck him. And again, this is where it started clicking again. Let me try something different. So I ended up paying the fucking $5, $10, whatever it was at that point. And then, going to the meetings, introduce myself. I was very shy. I wouldn't talk to anybody. And this one guy, did Billy Bagels, God rest his soul. That man chased me around the house, right? And I'm like, what the fuck does this guy want? Because I don't know about you guys, like anytime somebody was nice to me, I always figured they wanted something. And this guy just, when I tell you, he just wanted the best for everybody. Like he got it, and I understand it now. Like he got it, he wanted everybody else to get it. And he chased me around the house. Finally, asked him to sponsor me, and he was the first person to show me it was okay to ask another man for help. And because at that point I was a broken man. I really was. And so it started going through the work. Everything's good. I'm starting to feel good again now. I every time I give a big book out to one of my sponsees, somebody who needs help who doesn't have one, I entitled, like the front of the book, what he did for me, he gave me another book, a hardcover, because the soft cover was the one I stole from CK Post. It actually says Jeffrey Weiss on it, the guy upstairs. Yeah. I got to make an amends to that guy still. That's why I go there and speak so much. But he entitled the front of the book, to Jack, my sober date, 3/3/21. And then he put down, because at that point I don't know how all that works, so I didn't want to be in the sober house. I was like ready to leave. Like I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I'm done. All right, see you later. And he put in the book, he said, you're right where you should be. And then underneath it, keep the faith, Billy Bagels. And then he highlighted page 86, upon awaking and when we retire. He said, read this in the morning, read this at night. Now, at that point, I was still keeping the morning prayer. I would pray at night, I'd pray in the morning, so I just started reading that. And I was taking the suggestions because I heard that in the rooms, do it. And I was figured, let me let somebody else do my thinking for once, because my thinking got me here.
Right.
My thinking landed me in a tent. You know what I'm saying? So, I started going through the steps, started going to his house and reading, getting, building up comfortability with him and opening up a little bit. And right before my 90-day coin, which now to me, 90 days was such a big accomplishment. Like that 90 and 90, my 90-day coins, like I was proud of myself. I did something. And Billy passed away a week before, and when he passed away, like I was happy, but I was sad. Like the guy wasn't suffering. I was grateful at that point that I had that time with him, that somebody showed me it was okay not being okay. And then his best friend, it took me a month to ask him, almost a month to ask him to sponsor me. This guy, John Hawk, who I think you guys had on the show.
Yeah, John.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we talk about John a lot.
We had that guy on, right?
Yeah.
Pretty,
he's okay.
pretty sure you guys sponsored by
Shout out, Johnny.
He doesn't talk much.
Listen, that guy, I don't like to put anybody on a pedestal, but that guy not only was my sponsor, but he became my big brother and one of my best friends. He him and Billy had this thing that was magic when they were in the rooms. They were joking around with each other, made everybody feel welcome. And me and John, we got something like that now, and I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say, I don't know if Billy could have took me through the steps like how John did.
Mm-hmm.
However, Billy trained him. It was his sponsee. But this is why I say God has a plan. So when I asked John, and John really, I got real with John about a lot of things,
mm-hmm.
and he was. I remember going through the 4th step. I remember sharing all this stuff with him, and he's like, "That's it? It's not so bad." I'm like, this is terrible. Look, I kicked a cat. I shot a bird. Whatever, all this stuff, and he made me feel all right. Like, it happened in the past. We're gonna get through this.
Mm-hmm.
And I still at 6 months I did another 90 and 90. Just recently, about a month and a half. Now this is where I say God comes into play. A month and a half ago, I was going through something. Got back together with the ex. My self-esteem was taking a hit for a few reasons. And something was wrong with Jack again. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't pinpoint it myself, but this is why I say there is no me without we. I forgot how to say it, but I can't do this without you guys. This is a we program.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember calling up John and said, John, I don't know what's going on. I've been in a little funk for the last week and a half. Let's go back through the steps. It worked for my first year. Why not do it through my second year? And we started doing. I did my 4th and 5th all over with him, and pinpointed it was a self-esteem thing. So, because even work, I quit East Coast. I was working for them for the last year, a little over a year,
Right.
and I quit for them because the one boss is inactive, active addiction. He doesn't think he has a problem. I can't say he has a problem, but I was letting shit bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so I quit there. I finished out all my trucks. And I said, I'm done. I ain't coming back that Monday. And I started hitting the meetings. We did the 4th and 5th step. Then I started hitting meetings again, starting to feel better. Just last week, I think it was 8 speaks at detoxes, rehabs, and meetings. Experience, strength, and hope, steps, all that, all different meetings. And Monday, my dad was in the hospital for the last 3 weeks, which was amazing because I was able to bring him there, and I was able to be a son, And on Monday, 4th of July, got a call that he made a turn for the worst. He had his lungs replaced 3 years ago, and it was hard. So I ran. I'm not driving right now. I'm trying to get my license back. I had a bunch of tickets I didn't pay. I mean, I just for years I did drive without a license, get all these tickets, and not answer them. So so I ran into the hospital, and I was able to kiss him goodbye and all that. They stabilized him for the night. We stayed through the night. 4th of July. Left Tuesday morning. Came home for a little while. Got a call from my sister again, and said he's making even time for the worst now. The lungs that he had, he had got ammonia, and the antibodies were attacking the replacement lung, the transplanted lung. And that Tuesday night is 6 days ago now, whatever it is.
6 days ago.
Yeah, 6 days ago.
Here
5
you
days
are,
ago.
Still here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still doing it. Still killing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's important for a lot of people to
Yeah,
hear that.
listen, we get through this. I know there's gonna be days that I'm gonna miss calling him, or yesterday I went to a junkyard with my buddy upstate, his uncle's place, and it was just acres and acres of cars, and it was old cars, and it sucked. I couldn't call him like, "Yo, Dad, I found this '55 Buick or whatever," and shit like that's gonna suck and it's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, I was blessed with the last 16 months. We had, after that being in rehab, we had a great relationship because I was showing him that I wanted it.
Yeah.
And we would talk every day. I would see him every weekend. After my 5 months, my son that I walked out on, started seeing him. Then shortly after, me and my dad started taking him every Saturday. Then every other Saturday. Then became every Saturday. I'm building a life again. I'm starting from scratch. And it's okay. I was able to bring my son in my father's life, have them build a relationship. He just turned 3 a week before my 1 year. I'm grateful for the time I had. God needed his child back, and I don't need to know why. But God has a plan, and I don't need to know what it is. I just need to do the next right thing. They say God can move mountains, but you have to bring the shovel. And, I'm here today at peace because of the work I've been doing in AA. He handed me my 1 year coin this year. I handed him his 37th year coin this year.
37 years.
You know, like, I was blessed with that time. I wasn't in a dumpster, shooting up. You know, I was able to be a son. I was able to be a father. I was able to be there. Yeah, you know, when he went to the hospital 3 weeks ago, I was able to show up at his house, spend the night with him, make sure he was all right. He wasn't all right, brought him to the hospital, and you know, for that stuff, I'm grateful. You know, and when he passed, we had put him on life support, and I always promised him that I wouldn't let him live like that. So I said, you know, if he doesn't make progress, you know, we got to pull the plug. And he wasn't making any progress. So I said to my sister and brother, you know, we all agreed. Dad didn't want to live like that. You know, Dad was a trooper to the end. We unplugged him. About 15 minutes later, we were all sitting around the bed, you know, holding on to his hand. He was out of it. But we watched him take his last breath. Mm-hmm. You know, I lost it when my sister put her arm around me. But then this kid, Adam, for 2 days, he picked me up. That Tuesday, I was at the train station. He picked me up, drove me out there, stayed in the car, drove me back home Tuesday morning, and back Tuesday night. I'm sorry, Monday into Tuesday. Whatever the hell it was. Days are kind of just fogging together right now. But, you know, this is what it's about. You know, we're there for each other. And this kid, Adam, didn't look for anything in return. He had a loss of a mother a few years ago. And
I know Adam, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and he was able to be there for me. This is what it's about, you know.
This is what we do for each other.
We do for each other, not expecting anything in return. And I've never had friends like I have today. You know, I could turn to for anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I watched my dad take his last breath, and when we were leaving, going home, I was sitting there with a smile on my face because I was at peace with it. You know, I knew he wasn't suffering anymore. I knew he passed away with, you know, my sister, brother, all of us in the room. And like I said, I was blessed with the time that I had. And I'm saying to Adam, I'm smiling, you know, we were in traffic or something like that. It was a beautiful day. I turned to him, I was like, yo, who's got it better than us? And he turns to me, he's like, bro, you just lost your father, and you're saying who's got it better than us right now? He's like, he's looking at me like I had a glow to me. You know, I felt it. And he's like, I'm watching you have another spiritual awakening, aren't I? I was like, honestly, bro, I really think you are. Yeah. You know, and it's a day at a time thing, but there's somebody somewhere that's going to need to hear how I got through it.
Yeah.
You know, how I didn't need to go out, shoot up, have a drink over this. And
you're just proving that there is no good reason to pick up.
There is no good reason.
There is no. It's never a good.
It's important for people to realize that, you know, it's not rainbows and unicorns all the time.
No, not at all.
So, you know, there's gonna be tragedies. There's gonna be
life on life terms.
And you know, it's good that you handle it the right way and move forward and have the right mindset. It's pretty impressive, actually. To be honest with you.
Very impressive.
Listen, I came into this place a broken man, and it's building up into the man I am today. Yeah, I'm a man of my word, you know, and like I went last night, I went to the midnight meeting. I got up at 6 a.m. this morning. We got home at what, 2 o'clock in the morning last night?
Yeah.
I left this morning at 6 a.m. to go out to Santa Mauritius for a men's meeting. I know what works. I know the recipe.
You need a nap, Jack.
I need a nap. You hear the crankiness? You hear the crankiness in my voice? Yeah.
I want to touch on something what's impressive to me, actually.
Thank you, Jack.
Of course, brother. Thank you for having me.
Will for that whole thing with the hospital thing. I would not do that. Like when you said because you're at your lowest point. You're getting dropped off. You knew you kind of gave up and said, I need a hospital. You went to one, they let you go. You went to another, they let you go.
Oh, yeah.
And you kept going back and back and back. And didn't leave that place till you got the help that you were seeking. I mean, that pinnacle point in your mindset to me is incredible because fuck that.
It's funny
second time, the second place, the first time, the second place
addicts,
let me out.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, how many addicts?
I would have been like, I fucking tried.
Yeah. You know what? I tried. You know what? It wasn't meant to be. I thought the same exact thing when I heard that.
So it's pretty impressive that you, at that time, because obviously it seems as though that was your
I just tried to commit suicide a few hours prior to that.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, dude, that's not, we look for any other, exit.
They
don't want me? Fuck them,
No, I guess, and that's why since that point in your life, how you changed the way your future was going to be is how you were able to handle what just happened to you this week.
Yeah.
Where something in your head, like you said, you had that spiritual thing when you were in CK after a couple of weeks. I get it, but something clicked in your head prior to that, which is that day. I think anyway. It seems like that because again, I would have just been like, fuck you. I went to 2 fucking places. Go fuck yourself. I'm out of here.
Yeah, like you said, you had
pretty weird.
all over your arms.
It's pretty weird to do that. That's it's very impressive. Very.
I tell you
that's
why.
the right mindset.
This is why I thank my father for that tough love, because at that moment, I want to say it was a moment of clarity, but it was also to show I could do it. I'm not a piece of shit. Because a few hours prior to that, I was ready to die. I really was. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys. I tried every which way, and it seemed to be that this was always the answer. This was going to be the spot, that the last house on the block, on the left, whatever the hell it is. Like, this is where I'm going to end up. That's why it makes no sense to go out and use right now, because I'm going to end up back here if I make it back alive.
If you make it back.
My father used to always say, there's 2 things that I love that he always said. We all may have another run in us. We may not have another recovery. And all you have in life is your name. And for many years, that stuck with me. And I don't want to be remembered as Jerk Off Jack. I want to be remembered as Gentleman Jack. You know.
That's the title for this episode.
Well, there you go.
Gentleman Jack.
Yeah.
He's still Jerk Off Jack to me.
Yeah, fuck it. Can't make everybody happy, guys. It is what it is. You know.
No, it's that's a crazy fucking story too with the kid thing too. It's weird because I had I'm not doing one-uppers or anything, but I had not even near where you were at, but I had a weird upbringing as well and separation with family. I don't know my birth father, but okay. I met him once, whatever, but I was raised by my stepfather, who's a good man, by the way. I still speak to him to this day, and my parents are divorced. But
mine too.
As a kid, it was weird, and then when you have kids, you don't want to do the same things that happen to you. And it ends up when you're sick like we are, you kind of do that. It's so weird. I remember before I went to CK, it was like important for me to go see my kids. Yeah. And I pulled up in front of my kid's house and said, told my ex-wife, I'm like, listen, send the kids out one at a time. I want to talk to them, because I was letting them know where I'm going. At the time, I still have issues, but at the time I also was probably 2 weeks away from doing 3 years in jail too as well. My son came out first, and I had a pint of vodka in my cup holder, and I only had a little bit left. I was shit hammered, parked in front of the house. My son's like, and my son's 16. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't even want to talk to you. And just got out of the car and walked away.
That's okay.
And my daughter, 12, came in, and my ex-wife was like, can I sit with you guys? I guess because my daughter's a little younger. So I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. So she got in the back seat. My daughter's in the front seat. My daughter always tried to be loving and whatnot, but it was weird. She knew I was drunk too. And my ex was like, yo, what's this? I think I told this story once before. My ex was like, yo, what's this? And saw another pint, a full one, behind the seat.
Game on.
And she goes, what's this? I'm like, she goes, I'm taking this. And the first thing I did, man, was look at my watch. It was a Sunday. I looked at my watch. I'm like, she can't fucking take that. The liquor stores are closed. I'm like, no, you can't. Give me that. And meanwhile, I had the other one I was still drinking. Yeah. But I wanted that other one. My daughter's like, listen, I just don't want you to talk to me anymore. You got to, like, get yourself better before you talk to me again. She got out of the car, walked in the house. My ex, who's a good woman, she really is, good mother and everything. And she's like, yo, you got to get yourself better. You're ruining these kids' lives. Yeah. And that's when it clicked, like, holy shit, I'm really fucking, like, I never really thought that I had that effect. So it's, like, weird. Like what you said before, like you finally realize you don't want to fucking ruin the lives of, like, I don't want my kids walking down the same path.
The only one that suffers from our disease are the ones who don't have our disease.
Yeah.
Is it true?
Yeah.
But listen, in all seriousness, with that, I had to learn this too, especially early on. I learned it. And I love this saying now: give time, and give space. And when God's ready, He'll find the place. You know, a lot of people are listening to this, they may not have their families in place, falling apart, but just you clean your side of the street and do the next right thing without looking for anything in return.
The way it's supposed to.
And it'll come back. Like my son, he 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago now, had a sleepover. You know, in the soap house, and the manager and I had my own room, and he was able to sleep over Like, that was the first time in 16 months that he slept with just daddy, cuddled up in with me. He didn't want to go home the next day. Mommy came and pick him up, and he didn't want to go with her.
That's amazing.
You know, I never thought that would be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. In all seriousness, I thought I was just gonna die a junkie, and that's what it was gonna come down to. And by doing the next right thing, everything fell into place, man. Like, you know, I'm blessed. You know, and I keep it up front every day that I'm an arm reach away from losing all that. You know, but to do what? Either die or end up right back where I am right now. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to go back out.
No, your mindset changes when you see better things happen. I mean, now my kids are a lot better with me. My daughter's, she's awesome as far as, you know, making sure, hey, Dad, you got a sponsor? Hey, Dad, you go to meetings? Hey, Dad.
There you go.
Like, it's like weird, you know what I mean? So,
she's
12.
She's in your corner, bro.
So it's weird how my kids now see me as a different person. I mean, I can tell you a million stories since I've been sober. What's happened, which just to me is like, holy fuck. Like, I never. And then again, it opens your eyes, like time you missed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you don't want to. Now you cherish every minute. So it's like you don't want shit like that to happen anymore. You know.
But now also too with that, you can't make up for lost time. You know. You can't try
Absolutely
to.
Not.
You'll put yourself in a depression. You really will.
Of course.
I love this saying too. I don't know if anybody knows. Oh my God, Bob, but he says it all the time. Put down the bat and pick up the feather. Yeah. You know, we could sit there and because I know I used to beat the shit out of ourselves. You know, I should have did this. I should have did this. Listen, it's over. It's in the past.
Yeah, you can't. You can't
live in the moment. You know, every day I live in the moment.
Absolutely.
You know, whoever got up earliest has the most sobriety today.
Yeah.
You know, I beat you guys, but it's all right.
So I got like a 2-question thing here. Because you're an opiate guy like me.
Mm-hmm.
So one, what was it about opiates that, like for me, when I found opiates, it was like that warm feeling I've been looking for my whole life. I could think, you know, my mind didn't race no more. I'm like, this is it. I made it. This is what I want, you know? And then at what point did you realize, like, damn, I got a fucking problem?
When it ceased to become a luxury and it became a necessity. You know, when I started taking it and I went to go stop and realized I couldn't.
You couldn't.
And what was good about it is, like I said, at that point it took away the emotional, physical pain, but then also from taking it and the heroin and this and that, I have the adverse effect. You know, when I take an opiate, I get energetic. You know, I'm a blue-collar worker, so I would be able to pump out cars faster, not feeling pain, just kept going. A few times I smoked crack, and that shit just mellowed me down. Like, I wasn't crazy about it. Yeah. You know, I was selling coke out of my toolbox, but I wasn't really using it. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't the downers would wake me up. It would make me feel comfortable. It would just that, like you said, that ease and comfort. We're alcoholics. You know, I identify as an alcoholic. To me, it's an umbrella because I know if I take a sip of a beer, it's only a matter. I'm a ticking time bomb. I'm gonna be shooting up in a matter of no time.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah, it's we seek ease and comfort. And that was my go-to. Yeah. You know, I was comfortable. I could do everything. There was nothing that I was Superman on that. Yeah, and that's really what it came down to. Yeah, you know. But yeah, it was.
It's a fucking disgusting disease.
Yeah, it destroys everything. Destruction.
You know, they say, what is it, recovery, or addiction, is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything.
And that's so damn true.
It's beautiful, man.
And like you were saying before, it's not just us who suffer; it's our families, our loved ones,
and my son's young enough right now. He never has to remember this. Like my dad, he's got 37 years and 31. I never seen him fucked up. Yeah. And what's cool is when I was growing up, you know, I came into his house. I was used to living like a savage. Yeah. And a lot of things, like I was always that douchebag of a kid. And anytime I got caught, you know, that wasn't me. And he would make me admit that it was me and go apologize to the person, this and that. And that was the program in him.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I always thought he was a dick. But now, this last 16 months, I was blessed with him. Like, we built up such a good relationship. And I understood him more in this last 16 months because I'm starting to understand myself and live this program. And the bond we had will never be broken. Just like, you know, you could sit in a room and have another alcoholic in there that's in recovery, and you guys don't even have to say one word to each other. Yeah. You understand each other. Yeah. You know, we have a bond that nobody else could ever
Only
feel.
People like us can understand. I get that.
Because I'll tell you what, you know, many times, and I left because my sponsor, my first sponsor, Billy Bagels, used to say it all the time, And I know I've done it. You're telling a story about stupid shit that you did, like, I had my tow truck, we were stealing cars, we'd go do demolition derbies. I remember one time I had a car on the hook, I stole it off Sunrise, and cop pulls me over. I was like, fuck, he arrested for his car, blah, blah, blah. I think I was telling my grandmother the story. And I was like, yeah, balls of this cop. He pulled me over for a brake light. Like, there's 4 other brake lights on the thing. Why you pull me over for his one brake light, And my grandma turns around and is like, yeah, but you had a stolen car in the back.
You stole a car, exactly.
I was like, forget about that. You believe the balls on this cop? And you can't say that to normal people.
Nah.
But you say it to us, they're like, it's normal.
It's normal.
I would have thought the same thing.
Exactly. You believe the balls?
Fuck.
You think we need a padded room?
Without a doubt. Hey, listen, in the beginning, that's what they were doing to us.
Yeah.
It's a mind and mood altering substance, and they used to lock us up in padded rooms, guys.
Yep.
That was our outcome, and today it doesn't have to be. I'm free today. The thought of a drink or a drug. Like I said, I lost my dad 4 or 5 days ago, 6 days ago, whatever it was. Cleaned out his place on Friday. Not once did a drink or a drug come into my mind whatsoever. I was able to be a brother, an uncle, a family member, a friend to everybody in my family, And
very impressive.
Yeah, and that's a result of working the steps, reading the book, doing the recipe, going to meetings, commitments, sponsors. I still call that prick every day. Then he just shows up at the house. I can't say John Hawk 3 times, otherwise if I say it one more time, it's gonna come to that door like the Kool-Aid man.
What'd you do for your sobriety today, Jack?
Don't drink
Exactly.
meetings.
That's what I got. We joke around all the time because anytime we were trying to take our will back, Billy Bagels would turn around and be like, "Let me know how it worked out for you." And it's funny because I say stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Stuff just blurts out of my mouth that it's regurgitated from either the book or from the rooms. But, stuff like that. Like, I walk a little bit slower today.
Yeah.
I talk all the time. I talk to everybody all the time. You can ask Joey. Joey hates it. But, there's been many times that, like, people that just aren't in recovery, be in a gas station, seeing a guy have a bad day, and I'll talk to him. The one day, this is going back like 2 months ago, I was in Sunoco. I see this guy's having a bad day. What's up, man? What's going on? So I said to him, I was like, "You all right? You look like you're having a rough day."
Yeah.
And he just needed an ear to listen. And we ended up talking for like 10 minutes. My kid and my ex was out in the car, and his mom was in the hospital, this and that. But this trains us to live with other people, to walk a little bit slower, be a little bit nicer. Joey, this one, ex-Joey. Joey was crashed into some guy because he thought he was cutting him off on the Dunkin' Donuts line. And I'm looking at him, I'm like...
No, Joe's very patient.
Yeah. That fuse is still very short. Very, very short.
It's a daily reprieve.
What the fuck is this guy doing?
Daily reprieve.
I'm on step 8, motherfucker!
My boy's still waiting for the spiritual awakening.
I am. I really am.
Listen,
I do gotta say, you are a people person. We were in Walmart. It's always an adventure when I'm with Jack. We're in Walmart, and we're coming out, and he bought these, like, fucking steak o mein things. The greeter at the door is like, "Oh, those look good." This guy's handing him food. Try one.
He's like, "Oh, good."
Those are my favorite. I saw you eating one the other day.
I love those. But he said to me, he's like, "Oh, they look good. I gotta try them." And I was like, "Oh, this one, try. You like steak? Here you go." You do the next right thing because you don't know what that guy's going through.
It's true.
You really don't listen. We're in a sick world, and not everybody has a 12-step program in their lives.
No, we're lucky to have one.
Yeah,
not everyone does.
We have a guidebook.
We do.
To live. That's really what it comes down to.
So if there's any newcomers listening to this, or somebody who's floating around with the idea that they might have a problem with a drink or a drug, what would you tell them?
It's funny. I heard it last night at the midnight. This guy Harold, he came into the place, and this guy asked him. He said, "Do you think you have a problem with alcohol?"
Mm-hmm.
And Harold's response was, "No." So he said, "Come and sit down. We have a chair with your name on it. Because if you don't think you have a problem with alcohol, and you're at an AA meeting, there's probably a reason why. You've never been to a Diabetic Anonymous meeting, right?"
Yeah.
Think about that. Just let that sink in for a second.
No, I get it. I remember the first meeting I went to because someone said go to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll go. And the same thing. I'm like,
I'm not as bad as these guys.
What the fuck is this guy talking about? Cardboard box. Get the fuck out of here.
I ain't that bad.
I got a house. I got kids. You know what I mean?
You know, I was actually talking about it today with this guy Benny, a good friend of mine, and like last night at the pit, hearing a lot of people reading the stories out of the Big Book, and they're like, "Oh well, I'm not a mother of two, or I'm not an Indian black woman, or I'm not this, I'm not that." I don't identify with anybody in this story except their feelings, their experience, their strength, and their hope. Like when I listen to some, I pay attention to everybody when they speak, and I take a little bit from everybody because this. I don't know if this is the AOA, but this is what works for Jack. I take everybody from everybody's share. I take a little bit, and I listen to him. Like Joey will say, "I did this." I'll pay attention to it and see how he got through that.
Right.
So now, if I'm ever going through it, they say call those numbers. I'll call up Joey and be like, "Joey, I'm going through that thing you were going through. How'd you get through it?" And I'll ask for help because you know what? My thinking's fucked up. You know, I stop coming for the drink and the drugs. I come to the meetings for my thinking. And that's what it comes down to. Because Jack is still sick. But every day I get up, I get God in my head. Hit a meeting if I can. Which most of the time I break everybody's chops about that. There's no reason to.
What'd you do for your recovery today?
Right, listen,
What'd you do for your recovery today?
I don't want to hear it from anybody because I used to get up every morning. Go to work 12-hour day, 11-hour day.
Yeah.
I'm not driving, so I'd wait for a cab, go back and forth. I'd come home, throw water on my face. If I had time to eat something, I'd eat something. Go to a meeting, come home, then eat, shower, go to bed, repeat.
Yeah.
You know, I did that for the first year, and then I hear these people that come home from work. And I worked all day. It was hot in this attic. Bro, I was outside.
You know, if you had time for drugs, you have time for a meeting.
Yes,
Charlie.
Yes.
Listen,
if the guy was in Montauk and said he had a free bag for you, you'd get your ass there, right?
I'd be on my way.
Why not do it for a goddamn meeting?
You're right, absolutely. And I want to thank you. I want to take a second to thank you because as soon as I met you, I latched onto you because you're doing it. And I see the growth in you, and I can start to see the growth in myself now.
Yeah, man.
You know, time's passing and just trying to do the next right thing and stay clean and sober. You know?
Yeah. If you want to slow down the growth, stop eating chicken salad.
I do have an addiction to chicken salad.
Well, yeah, that's another thing that should definitely be brought up. Now, we're addicts and alcoholics now. We'll replace it. My dad used to say it all the time. We're changing seats on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Joey stopped freaking putting a needle in his eyeball or smoking whatever he's smoking, and now he's eating chicken salads every day, 3 times a day.
And takes fucking pictures of it, dude.
Oh yeah,
just the
that's the worst.
Oh my god.
No, the best was
Guess
when
what I'm having?
The best was when I took a fucking picture of chicken salad at work, and this motherfucker took a picture of the 24-hour chip.
Yeah. Well, I was like, get back at day 1, bro.
That's good.
Dude, that shit had me dying, bro.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm fucking very still sick, bro. I'm not there.
And that's okay.
You know, but I see my addiction coming out in other ways.
And you can recognize it too.
And I do recognize it.
Do you do anything about it, Joseph?
That's the thing. Yeah. I do.
That's weird.
You know, I'm learning as I go.
I'm not going to air out Joey's
Yeah, no,
laundry,
me neither. Oh my god.
But just hear me out. I break Joey's balls often because I made the mistakes that you're making.
Yeah.
And I get on your back sometimes about it because I see myself in you.
Mm.
And I want you to learn and not take as much time. It's everybody's own race, but not take as much time or bring it to your attention so you can see. Like, we used to have this guy Justin in the house. He was the manager before me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
Justin,
have him on too.
Justin's good people. But I'd say he's one of my best friends. And he would call me out on my shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would make me pause and be like, yo, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, do I need to go all the way out to Long Beach in the middle of the night to go, do the hanky panky? Like, what am I doing?
Well, that's why we got curfews, bro.
I mean,
that was Saturday night, by the way.
The only thing I see, and I hate to say this, but a lot of people preach it, but then they don't do it themselves too. You see that a lot in this.
Yeah, bro, we're sick people. You know what I mean?
It's progress.
It's like
not
you
perfection.
got someone telling you something constantly, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, this motherfucker just did this, though. Like,
that turns me off big time. I try not to do that. You know, sometimes I fall short, but for the most part, I mean,
we're all fucked up. We all have fucking I mean,
you're
I'm.
fucked up.
Shut up, Joe. We all, like I said, I mean, you see the progress in I see the progress in everyone I've been with since my recovery started. So, and everyone has faults. It's. I mean, it's it's a learning process. That you're never gonna get it entirely. We're not Buddha or anything like that. So, but
I think John Hawk might be.
John, at least he thinks so. Yeah. I mean, even with Joe, just being in CK Post, whatever, not that long ago. I mean, what are we? There's only a couple of us left that are still sober.
Yeah, we were talking about that because you don't really know. You don't listen. What the amount of rehabs I've been to, you maybe keep in touch with one person when you leave, and that's.
But you hit
CK Post. That's Charlie. So we were thinking the other day, how many from where we're at, how many people do you think are still staying sober? And now from where you're at. Right, 16 months. How many people?
Can I give you guys a story? Now, first off, what you were just saying, there's none left in my. It was like 28 of us, or 20 of us. Yeah. I'm the only one now. My dad, in his early years of sobriety, used to bring the commitment to CK Post, and this one time his speaker didn't show up, so he spoke, and he actually caught a lot of shit for it. Now, at the end of his share, he said to everybody, now I want all of you guys to look at each other. And, all of us were staring at the speaker, which everybody was staring at him. He painted the picture so well, and I could understand it. And he said, no, look amongst each other. Look at each other. Turn your heads. And they did. They started looking at each other, and he said, one of you, out of all you, one of you are going to make it. So then my dad shares his story at the pit. It used to be on the other side. The back entrance of the church was how you got down to the pit, not the side entrance that it is. He said he's about 10 years sober at that point. Now, when he first came in, he was a biker. Had a big beard, ponytail. He cut that all off 10 years later, looking all clean cut. And this kid came from downstairs because my dad went outside to go smoke a cigarette. The meetings were a little bit longer then. And he said, hey, you Andy. And he turned around. He's like, yeah, what's up? He's like, do you remember me? My dad's like, no, I don't remember you. I'm sorry, I meet a lot of people. I don't recognize you. I apologize. He said, yeah, well, I'm that one. I'm that one that made it.
Wow.
And he walked down those stairs. And I got God bumps just now.
That's crazy.
And I think about that all the time. You never know what you're going to say to somebody that's going to click and who you're going to help. And, Joey was breaking my balls the other day. I spoke twice last week at CK Post, and then we went to the barbecue, alumni barbecue there.
Oh, yeah.
And
how'd that go, by the way?
CK Jack.
It was awesome. Yeah, they call me CK Jack now. But after all that, we had the whole both sides of the rehab out or whatever, and they put the alumni in front of the place, which we didn't know we were going to speak, so we got 5 minutes to speak.
Oh, I was shitting my pants.
Oh yeah, Joey was sweating. But after
what do you mean? He had to walk back there, didn't he? He sweats just from walking.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding.
10 feet.
Yeah, I see him setting his table up to record on. So anyway,
is it fucking hot in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck the both of you.
Like Joey, it's a 4x2 table. But there was four guys and a fifth guy that I reached out to. All asked me to sponsor him.
Picked up like 5 sponsees at that one barbecue.
And
so I was giving him shit, but listen,
But now my thing is, I got a lot of people that call me their sponsor. A few that actually at this moment, none of that actually put through the work. But my hand is always out because whoever wants it, is gonna call. Is gonna do the next right thing, and I'm gonna be there because it was done for me.